5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Right then, it's been way too long. Pod a day, and I gotta say, I gotta address this real quick because it's something that's happening only to me, and you will not notice a difference. But I can hear myself right now as I speak, and I can. Yep, granted, I always hear myself when I speak, but now I hear myself as a little man inside my ear, and it's me, and it's weird. But it makes it feel a lot more legit, so we're gonna stick with it. There is a bunch of things actually rarely to cover, to talk about. Obviously not all in this. I like to spread these out. I like to get my money's worth, if you will. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I've missed a few days of a pod a day, which defeats the purpose. But obviously we've got to catch back up, do a couple double uploads, things like that. But what has happened is there's just been a lot of shit, which is good because sometimes, man, it's like, I mean, actually, we are going to speak about. Should we? No, I'll save it for the next one. See, even now, energy reserving. It's like I watch a lot of Formula One. It's like, yep, who's the quickest? Yep, who's got the quickest car? But also, who's the best on their tires? Who can manage? Who can get the most out of their tires? It's all about energy conservation. And I'm conserving like crazy. But yeah, it would kind of be, for example, one of the things on here, Lad Baby coming back. If you don't know, Lad Baby is honestly, and this is going to sound like random bullshit, but this is genuinely what he is in a couple sentences. He's a guy who, he's kind of the English version of Mariah Carey. Now, if I'm right, and I haven't got that wrong, hopefully, Mariah Carey is the one who you don't see all year round. Similar as well, Michael Bublé, right? You don't see him all year round. And then around this time of year, they come out of their cocoon, their cave, hibernation, to sit firmly at the top at number one, to be the star on the top of the tree with their Christmas number ones, right? Just every year, right? And they just live off that, Mr. and Mrs. Christmas. Lad Baby, unfortunately, has become England's version. You don't know what he does between January and November, but every year, and here's the awful part about it, is that his songs are all sausage roll related. I almost said chicken nugget. I forget. He makes Christmas songs where he basically takes the tune and melody of a popular Christmas song and the lyrics, but changes every other word to a sausage roll. And that is genuinely what sits at top at number one in this country. So there's a quick rundown on Lad Baby and also Lad Baby Wife, which I believe is the actual grammatical way you say Lad Baby Wife's name is Lad Baby Wife, and they're Lad Baby Kids. And I don't want to get into it any more than that, but that's usually the kind of bottom of the barrel stuff we have to talk about. And yeah, that's just a plague that we have to deal with, and we'll live with that. What I actually want to speak about is, I guess we'll get into this. Billie Eilish. I saw this going around on Twitter a little bit. And I'll get my thoughts out at the end, but it's just kind of funny to me, in a way, but maybe for different reasons. Basically, she was talking with Variety, and I always just find, like, when people have these interviews with Variety, it's hard. That's a hard word for me to say, Variety, or like GQ or something, right? Where there's no video to go along with it. It's just like an interview, like on paper, where they kind of note down everything you're saying, and not just everything you're saying, but like every movement you're making. Like, I've read one of these once before. It might have been GQ or Variety or something like that. And it's like, I sat on the balcony with Daniel Radcliffe, his hair falling just so delicately on his forehead. He had a certain swag about him this morning. As he walked in, he opened the door for me, and you get, like, they go into this extra detail, which, like, it's just weird. But anyway, I feel like you never come out of these types of interviews looking good, because you can say a joke, you can say whatever else, and they can take something, make that the headline, and then, we only have it down in text. So, whereas, anyway, what Billie Eilish said in one of these interviews was, nobody ever says a thing about men's bodies. If you're muscular, cool. If you're rail thin, cool. Rail thin. If you have a dad bod, cool. If you're pudgy, love it. Everybody's happy with it. You know why? Because girls are nice. They don't give a fuck, because we see people for who they are. I guess somebody never saw Mean Girls, am I right? Yeah, that is a very that's a film with was it Lindsay Lohan? Yeah. No, but seriously though, obviously it's a ridiculous statement. But what I would say is, you go on Twitter and it's everyone just like sort of clowning on Billie Eilish. All of a sudden they want her burned at the stake. It's just like, but I try when I read this stuff, I'm trying like, but what kind of tone did they say it in? And I feel like sometimes these interviewers, like they might be in your house or in like a relaxed location and stuff, and you kind of just start to have a conversation, and then you kind of forget that they're like writing all of this down, and it's like their job to sell this as like an interesting article, and like you just start to say things like jokingly, and maybe it's not stuff you would say if your hand was on a Bible and you was under oath in a court of law or whatever, but like amongst friends or just a bit of conversation, like oh yeah, it's like it's actually bullshit. Like, everyone has these kind of takes or whatever, and it's like maybe you don't believe them, like, you know, to the sword or whatever the fucking phrases are, but you're just it's just one of them things. You might be saying it in a joking way or like while laughing as you say it or whatever. Like we don't know the tone. It's like, is she stepping forward thinking this is the new take? Like I want this to be, I want this. Like, when she said it wasn't like I want this to be put out to the world with my face next to it in black and white, and then this in white text, maybe mountains in the background in like a nice cursive swirly handwriting with this quote, Billie Eilish 2023. Like you don't know. People read it as if that's what she wanted, but we don't know. But let's poke holes in it anyway because it's fun. I mean, the obvious angles, I'm not going to go too much into, obviously men who are fat are not appreciated that much and whatever, this and that, right? It's all down to personal preference. That's all the obvious stuff. I just like the idea that, like, from this paragraph, it makes it sound like Billie Eilish only thinks opposite genders are giving their opinions on the opposite genders. So, like, no one cares if guys are fat, thin, ugly, whatever the fuck, because girls are nice. But it's like only the opposite gender are allowed to give their opinion. So even if that was true, and girls are just nice and they don't care and they see you for who you are, right? Um, what about the dirty, ugly, mean men who don't? Because the girls are nice, the men aren't nice. So the girls, okay, it's all well and good. The girls seeing a little fatty, or a little rail thin loser and going, we see for who you are. There's still like 55%, 60% of the population who are men who see them and still, calling them, whatever. So there is no world in which, it works. Even if it was true that every single woman was just an angel. But what I would say is, like, obviously these kind of statements are ridiculous because to say every single one is crazy, it's a sweeping statement. But what I would say is, I spoke about this earlier, and that I do kind of lean more to it. Like, for the most part, it is kind of true at the same time, though. Like, it's not completely true, but I think they are. I think women probably are generally nicer in that kind of respect. And my example was that when you see like an an a maybe broadly looked at ugly or just average looking Joe get a lot of money, get really famous, they'll get like a supermodel girlfriend on their arm like ASAP, pronto, right? If they like if they like start a fucking business and it goes booming, or if they're like some celebrity, or if they're like TikTok famous even, it's like supermodel girlfriend on the arm ASAP. That's what we're doing. Footballer, whatever, sports person, this and that. That is like the necessity. Whereas you see a lot of like famous women, right? And you look at who their husbands are. And I'm talking about, let's talk about the top of the top. With men, I was going very broad. I was going all the way from like footballers down to TikTok famous, right? That kind of level, you're going to want that on your. Whereas now with women, we'll only look at the top, right? To prove this point even more. And you look at some of the people, like you look at who are like Beyonce with Jay-Z. Like, I'm not saying Jay-Z's like, just murder on the eyeballs, right? But what I am saying is a lot of people put Beyonce on this pedestal. She's the queen of the earth, right? And you would say if it was the flip side, I don't know if you look at Kanye's with Kim Kardashian and then is with some other random model I don't know the names of, right? Is with this and that. Whereas when you look at the female, like Beyonce, she's with Jay-Z or whatever. Again, I'm not saying, but you know what I mean. I'm trying to think of another example, like a really famous woman. I don't know, like Doja Cat, like a lot of people, and then the geezers just have like dad bods or whatever. So there's something to be said for that. Although it's you know, I can't stop you getting clowned, Billie Eilish, sorry, because this is you know, it's kind of crazy. I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, geezers who read that and felt, you know, however they felt about it, I don't know. But you know, this is why you shouldn't. This is why, right? You should save your hot takes for at least. I either save them if you're, especially if you're famous, only for your friend group. But if you are going to go public with your hot takes, maybe save them at least for a podcast scenario where you have full explanation and we can hear tone of voice, and you know you got the back and forth kind of banter going on. Maybe don't you know, beta test, you know, soft boot, or whatever it's called, right? Your hot takes, soft launch your hot takes, right? In like written interviews for GQ or Variety, because whenever I see them, like reportedly, but on like one of them like Pop Crave, whatever, like fucking Twitter accounts, X accounts, you know, it's always some just like random take that never goes down well. So maybe just stop if you know wanna. It doesn't matter, it'll blow over. But yeah, is there anything else I can say in a very short amount of time here? Not really. Not really. But yeah, I guess we'll end this one here at a very short but comfortable 12 minutes. I need the pen to tick some of this stuff off. I got like 9-10 things to cover. That's 2 hour. That's 2. I don't know why I'm doing the peek behind the curtain. I don't know if like you can see. I'm very tired right now. Like I'm very. You know what it is? I think I went to bed at like probably 3 a.m. Maybe 3:30 a.m. because it takes me a while. I know some people manage to fall asleep within like 7 seconds at the quickest, probably. Some people within like 30 seconds. I know obviously some people fall asleep. They've got like real what's it called when you can't sleep and you gotta take shit? You're like, God, I can't remember. But for me, you know, it takes me a long time. It takes me a long time to fall asleep. Not like ridiculously long, maybe like half an hour. But I would just say that's too long, man. Especially when you're exhausted, you just want to lie down. You kind of just want to be done with it and wake up the next morning. But it just takes so fucking long. But anyway, so let's say like 3:30. The issue is obviously it's a Saturday. Well, it's not obvious. This could go up whenever, I don't even know. But like, it's a Saturday. There's nothing to do. And let's be honest, even if it was a Monday, I have nothing to do. Work is very sporadic right now. Let's just say that. But it's a Saturday. I'm not like I've got to get up anyway. So it's like, okay, if I go to bed at 3:30, it's not that deep. I can just wake up at whatever time. It's fine. You'll get your 8 hours regardless. But I had Formula 1 I wanted to watch, which came on at like 8 in the morning. So falling asleep at like 3:30 and then waking up at 8 in the morning to watch the Formula 1. And then having like a nap after that because I knew I couldn't go about my day just after that. And it's like, I don't feel particularly tired, but my eyes are burning. No one cares. I always get into this. No one cares. Sometimes I wonder if I'm allergic to my cat. I don't think I am, but sometimes I feel like I don't think it's actually being allergic to your cat. I think it's just having hair in your eyes is going to itch regardless. If you're allergic to it or not, if you got hair in your eyes, it's going to itch. And I don't even know how there's cat hair potentially in my eyes right now. Maybe it's just my own head hair. But no, I think it's the cat. I don't know how the cat is nowhere near me or hasn't been in a while, but that is what it is. Anyway, I was meant to win this. This is 277, I think. See you in 278.
Here with the kids, and I've got 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.